Hello, everyone. My name is Jason Brooks, and I am a pediatric orthopedic surgeon at the Scottish Rite Hospital for Children in Dallas, Texas. And I'm excited to welcome you to another episode of Scoliosis Dialogues. We have two really special guests today, and we are interviewing them in honor of Scoliosis Awareness Month, which is this month. We have Sonia and Sarah, and I just want to thank you all both for joining me today.
Thank you.
Hi there, thank you.
All right. So normally we actually don't have kids as young as you are, but you all are special. So that's why you're on here. So first, I would actually love to pose my questions to Sarah first, because you actually did have scoliosis. What age were you first diagnosed with scoliosis?
So I was first diagnosed around the age of 9 in 2013.
Okay. And do you remember everything about that event? Was it so traumatic that like it's seared in your brain, or are the details kind of muddy?
It wasn't too traumatic because I had an understanding that I had family members who had scoliosis. At the time, my curve was just under 10 degrees and most significant in the upper and middle portions of my back. My grandmother had also noticed it, and then soon my pediatrician officially diagnosed it.
Okay, so thank God for a really observant grandma, huh? And so after you got your diagnosis, did you look at yourself differently? Like, did you feel like you were broken or that you were not normal anymore? How did you take it kind of in those days and months afterwards?
Um, well, I think my main concern was just making sure that my spine was healthy and making sure that I could do as much as I could, to make sure that I was healthy, through exercise or the food that I ate, making sure, calcium-rich foods. I eat a lot of yogurt. Um, yeah.
Okay. So, and who was your physician or your surgeon that was taking care of you, and what treatment did he or she recommend for you?
So, I initially saw a doctor locally, but then my spine significantly progressed within a year, tripling in degree curvature nearly. So I decided to see a pediatric orthopedic spine surgeon, Dr. Sponseller at Johns Hopkins. Um, Johns Hopkins also has a special X-ray machine that mitigates radiation to the radiation dose to the pelvis, um, which was also important. And then from there, he decided that I would need a Boston brace for 8 hours a day. So basically, when I went to bed, I'd wear that brace. And I started wearing that around, let's see, like the age of 11. I turned 11 recently, and so throughout middle school. Um,
Okay. All right. And so, small world, Sarah, I was actually in my orthopedic residency training, probably during the same time that you were being treated by Dr. Sponseller. And so it's really cool that even though we didn't know each other, we kind of get to reconnect like this. So to you, Sonia, you're not the one with scoliosis, but Sarah is your sister. How did her diagnosis make you feel as a sister? Like, did you feel uh, helpless? Like, did you feel like you wanted to help her? Like, what were the feelings kind of going through your mind as you saw Sarah going through what she was going through?
Yeah, so being 8, I wasn't entirely sure what scoliosis meant.
Mhm.
So it was a foreign word to me, and I wasn't sure if I could potentially have it, as my aunt did, and Sarah was now diagnosed. So I just sat by her bedside, and occasionally I would read her books, and I don't know, I would talk with her, see how she's doing. So I felt the need to help, and I just wanted her to be comfortable in every best way possible.
Okay. Now, Sarah, before your diagnosis, did Sonia desire to keep you comfortable like all the time, or did this just start when you got your diagnosis? Was she
well,
a really nice sister before your diagnosis or
yeah,
only afterwards?
I think, yeah, like we've always been aware of, my any issue that I've had with my back.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and I used to feel sometimes I would have a little bit of back pain even when I was younger.
Oh,
So Sonia was always aware of that and making sure that I was feeling okay. You know, the occasional like a back rub or making sure.
okay. Well, so Sonia, you're definitely a better sibling than I was to my sister. So, kudos to you. All right. So, you certainly tried to support Sarah and help her when she felt some discomfort. But really, we wanted to talk to you, Sonia, because you did something more than that, and just kind of describe what you did even further to try to support your sister.
So essentially, you know, my sister was still having some effects from scoliosis, as she still had pain in her back, and the pandemic had just started. So my parents, who are physicians, they lacked PPEs, so I decided to learn how to sew and create masks and surgical caps for them. But further on, I decided to focus on masks, as that was pretty necessary at the time. So I grabbed some spare fabrics and I started to research which would be, the most optimal to have as a face protector. So soon enough, I was able to acquire some polypropylene, which is a KN95 filter, as well as copper fabric, which is shown to be antibacterial and antiviral. So I decided to, play around with these fabrics, and eventually got a nice mask with silk as the background, so it'd be comfortable to wear and easy to talk to.
Wow. I really wish I had had a mask like that during the pandemic rather than wrapping a t-shirt around my mouth. And so that's really, really cool that you did so much of that at such a young age. And I hear that you even were able to personalize some of the designs. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I was able to create a company, and then I eventually launched a website, and so it was called Supermask. So um,
Wow.
yeah, so I was able to, have that on as a logo on each mask, and it was really fun to play around with the color palette as well. So it would range from like blues to oranges to pinks even.
That's really, really cool. And who were you, I guess, giving the mask to or selling these masks to?
Yeah, so I was selling these reusable masks to doctors' offices and also to my family and friends. And I also got it out to other people as well, as other doctors were recommending it, which was really nice.
That is amazing. And so, did you use all the profits to, save up for your Tesla for when you go to college? What did you use all the profits for?
So I thought that it would be best to use the profits to help other children um, who underwent scoliosis. So I decided to dedicate the funds to the SRS, as I figured the research could be really beneficial and it could help many other people.
Wow, that is amazing, Sonia. Especially this month being Scoliosis Awareness Month, and so many kids, just like your sister, being diagnosed with scoliosis every week, every day. It's amazing that you chose to use your profits like that. And I would say I have never heard of someone your age donating money like that to an organization like the SRS. And again, I think that's what definitely makes this endeavor super special. So both of y'all have had your own scoliosis journey in some ways. Sarah, you having scoliosis, and Sonia, you supporting kids across the world with your donation who have scoliosis. What are your plans from here on out with your company? Once you graduate high school, do you have an idea of what you want to do in life? Do you want to be a pediatric orthopedic surgeon one day yourself? Kind of like, where do you see yourself in the future? And that's a question for both of you all.
So would you like to go first?
Sure. So, I am really interested in medicine and would like to one day go into the field of pediatrics. I enjoy
Okay.
working with children. I volunteer at a summer camp for students who have learning disabilities, and it's also a moment, where you provide the enrichment in various areas such as math and reading, and that's volunteer experience is also very important to me.
Awesome. That's really, really cool. How about you, Sonia?
So, me on the other hand, I'm more mathematically inclined, and I also have invented, so I'm thinking more pursuing engineering.
Okay.
Although the medical field is always pretty interesting, so I might take a look into that.
Yeah, now I know what I think both of y'all meant to say was you both want to be pediatric orthopedic surgeons one day. And so I'm just kind of re-saying what you said in a different way. And so for everyone that's
Precisely.
listening, yeah, for everyone that's listening here, you have two sisters who are going to hopefully take over my job one day, taking care of patients. But of course, I say that in jest. So really, I'm just so honored to be talking to the both of you and to hear your stories and just hear how both of y'all have supported kids with scoliosis in so many ways. Before we close down, did y'all have any maybe final words for potentially other patients who are listening to this podcast, and any parting words of wisdom for them?
Um, yeah, so like as someone who's had scoliosis, I think emphasizing like if you have the ability to exercise and making sure that your muscles are strong, making sure that you have a strong back. I think that's very important. I know that like swimming is a really good way to exercise. Too, I like to do cross country running, but making sure that you're fit can be really helpful.
Okay, awesome.
And also, coming from my experience watching Sarah, it's always really important to persevere. Don't be too negative on yourself. You know that there are always ways that you can improve. So just have a good mental state. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sonia. Thank you so much, Sarah. And thank you again for your donation to the Scoliosis Research Society. And for all of you all who've been listening to our series for Scoliosis Awareness Month, please stay tuned for more amazing podcast episodes. Take care.
Thank you.
The Scoliosis Research Society is a nonprofit professional organization made up of physicians and allied health personnel. Their primary focus is on providing continuing medical education for healthcare professionals and on funding and supporting research in spinal deformities. Please visit srs.org for further information.